Hello everyone, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Texte's another podcast. Today we have a very special guest with us. She is Kata from Hungary. She's gonna share her journey as well as she's gonna tell about that how she started this entrepreneurial journey and what she is doing nowadays. We are gonna also talk about her quarantine life, how she's spending her quarantine life, and what she suggests to others how they can make these just productive. First of all, before going for anything, Kata, thank you so much for taking out time for this podcast. And can you please
Thank
introduce
you.
yourself for the audience that who is Kata? Yeah.
Yeah, so hi everyone. I'm Kata, and thank you for inviting me to this podcast today. I don't know, I guess you'll learn who I am. I'm basically
Yeah.
a small girl, just very, very motivated to do something that's good for the world, exciting for me, and creating value for others as well. Uh, I might have a surprise guest, but currently she is sleeping. It's my 1-year-old puppy, so she makes it easier to spend my time during quarantine. So yes.
You're spending your quarantine days with her. So,
Yeah.
by the way, there is one thing which I want to ask you that before going for your quarantine life, how this all started? Because as much as I know about you, you started your journey from Mercedes, then you went to Red Bull, then you started working for Walt Disney, and then you founded a company. Then after that, you became the CEO of the current company, the current work you are doing. So can you please go through your journey for the audience? So yeah, I think this is really inspirational. Can you please go through that?
Yeah. So when I was 17 years old, I was really lost. I didn't know what I wanted to do in my life. So I started business administration. And in my first marketing lesson, I thought, oh my God, this is what I want to do because marketing is such a strong power and it can actually influence people and the world to make it better, to achieve common results. So then I was really motivated to just start working as an intern and find learn from the best. So this is also why when I applied to Mercedes, it was here in Hungary, and basically it was my first real life experience with real life marketing challenges. I really loved it, so I thought to myself, I want to experience this at other
Yeah,
companies
for
too.
every business, marketing is something. Yeah.
Yeah. So then I wanted to see how it works in other industries. And there was an opportunity to become an intern at Red Bull as well. So I moved to Red Bull. I have to say it's exactly as you would imagine working at Red Bull, a lot of extreme sports, team building events were like rock climbing. So it really was like a Red Bull culture in there. I loved it. And then I decided to try Walt Disney as well. Same as Red Bull. It's exactly as you would imagine working for Walt Disney. A lot of like toys in the office and it was just a very different experience to see how, like, as a child you watch a lot of Disney movies, but often you don't realize what kind of work goes into that those movies are made, they're actually promoted, that you have the chance to go into the movie theater and watch those movies. So it's a lot of like behind the scenes work, and it was really exciting just to experience it and become a part of the Walt Disney family. Are you still here?
Yeah, I'm still here. So I'm
Okay.
really sorry. I think the voice was breaking, so I
Okay. I'm
now
just
it's
keeping
pretty
up
clear.
my
Right
phone.
now we are at Walt Disney that you started. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was really exciting to be a part of the whole Disney family, and to see how it works behind the scenes. So then I thought to myself,
I think you worked with such a big companies. By the way, Kata, before going for the company you founded, definitely
yeah,
that's a very inspirational story. But you worked with so many large corporate companies. How was your experience with them? Like, can you share a little bit of your experience with all of them, maybe?
yeah. So I think that with a multinational company, a lot of how you perceive it and what kind of experience it gives you is tied to the corporate culture. Like you really have to like the brand that you're working for. For example, if you don't like extreme sports, you're not gonna like working at Red Bull because all their life is about extreme sports. Or if you don't like Disney movies, I doubt that there is anyone who doesn't like Disney movies. But if you don't like it, it's going to be really hard to be part of a culture that adores Cinderella and or Star Wars. Um, so if you work for a multinational company, it's really about the team because you're just one small piece in the whole company. And if you don't do your part, then the whole overall organization is not going to succeed. So it's really important that you see yourself as one little part of the company who needs to work really hard so the overall success can be achieved. So the
So
simple
after all of this learning,
yeah,
you
the
learned a
simple
lot prior to starting going for your own business, prior to going for your own venture. By the way, when it comes to your own venture, what was the inspiration behind it and how you started that fintech company?
Yeah, so I have 5 younger siblings, and even myself growing up, I'm not very good at handling money. I'm very good at handling companies' money, but if it comes to my own money, I'm not good at it. So I realized that there is a real gap in financial education throughout the world. So they don't teach you in class how do you do a household budget or how do you save up for something, what is an interest rate. So this is why we came up with the idea to do a mobile application for children from up to 8 years to 18 years, so that we teach them the way they can handle money. And it's really it was a digital pocket money manager. So it was partly on personal experience. And on the other hand, of course, also we saw market niche there because traditional banks just really don't care about educating the younger generation about money habits. So this is the story behind it.
Wow, that's really great. By the way, you faced a problem and then yet you turned that problem into a business, and that's how it was. So, by the way, can you tell us that what happened to that company? Because now you are in the travel and tourism world. By the way, how you shifted from fintech to how you came from fintech to travel and tourism world, that will be another story. But
Yeah,
before going for that, can you
yeah,
tell us a little bit about that? What happened to that company? Have you
of course.
people took exit or what happened? Yeah.
Yeah, so basically what happened is that I spent almost 2 years building the company, and we secured a bigger funding round, before I left the company. So I thought that at the point when I left the company, I wanted something more challenging, because the company had money by the time. I briefed the marketing agency on the strategy. We had key partnerships with banks in place. So I actually thought to myself that it was an opportunity for me to start something else. And as you've seen from my past, I have switched a lot between industries, so it was not a big surprise for me to go and do something really different. The travel industry is something that our generation can relate to because we like to travel a lot, we like to experience different cultures. And of course, all of us have faced like a flight cancellation or a flight delay, and it's really upsetting. So once again, well, yeah, it was a colleague of mine who actually like recommended me for the CEO job, and I was like, absolutely, I love it. I can identify myself with the problem. I know how hard it is for someone when the plane is late and you don't get there in time, especially when you have a business trip. So it was a natural fit with my values. So this is how I ended
So, by
up.
the way, as you just mentioned that you started with everyone loves traveling, like it seems like you are an avid traveler. So, by the way, can you share a little, like because I'm gonna ask you a lot of questions about traveling because Texte is a digital travel guide in Pakistan. We also work in travel and tourism sector. But when it comes to travel and tourism sector, this is the most vulnerable sector right now. No one is traveling, first of all. And what you think when people will start getting traveling? And secondly, what will be the new normal for traveling? Because the new normal will be a bit different than the previous normal.
Yes, I agree with you. So I believe that in the past, I don't know, 5 years, we really had the luxury that everyone was traveling everywhere. So there was an
Yeah.
unprecedented amount of tourism. And then, of course, now it took us a big shock that we can't travel anywhere. But if you think about it, so I'm trying to answer all parts of your question. So yes, it is a very vulnerable industry at the moment. And I think that only a few players will survive in like each segment, like just looking at airlines, they're consolidating, they're taking government bailouts. So they're basically becoming government
Yeah.
funded again. And also with our competitors, I can only say that I see how the market is. They're just really, mergers and acquisitions. Some of them fail. And I think I've seen the same. I think there are forecasts that 1/3 of all travel agencies globally will disappear after this crisis. So there's going to be
this is something which is really scary for the travel and tourism world, that a lot of companies will disappear because of this COVID-19. So what you suggest travel and tourism companies, what they should do, how they can survive during this pandemic, specifically when it comes to small entrepreneurs, because large corporate companies can survive during any pandemic, anything. But when it comes to small entrepreneurs, because I heard that you are also mentoring different startups over there in
yeah.
Hungary. So what you suggest other startups, how they can survive during this pandemic?
Well, I would divide this. So what I say to travel agencies is that they should be, first of all, if they survive this crisis, they should really make sure that they have enough cash if the next wave of this coronavirus hits, because cash is king. So you need those reserves to be able to survive.
Yeah.
Also, if you can survive with like a sleep mode, like you can, just keep a few employees and get through this crisis and then restart, you should really be looking at building a whole portfolio of like ancillary revenues, like sell a premium subscription such as we are now offering for flight disruptions, or sell something, that that can help you to build additional revenue streams besides your original travel, bookings.
Yeah, I think this is something which is really great advice, that they should be working on building some additional revenue streams. I think that's how anyone can survive through this pandemic, because right now, even if you divert from your actual real goal and you start generating money and you can keep your employees, you can still survive during this pandemic, you will be able to do much more when this things will be over. By the way,
Yeah.
when it comes to this pandemic, like this pandemic will not be over until and unless we don't have a vaccine. The new normal is totally different. We have to follow the new SOPs, new protocols. What will be the protocols according to you? What you think, being a travel and tourism, you are in travel and tourism world. So what you think, what will be the new protocols in travel and tourism industry?
Well, I am on the other side, I'm just helping passengers to get their claims back. But of course, I read a lot of news, and I know that the European Union as a whole has also like issued their official guideline on health issues. Of course, I've just looked through some of the airlines websites, and I know that some of them are doing like the face masks and yeah, so and like frequent hand washing, try to keep the social distancing. So I think I actually read that going to the grocery store is worse from a corona point of view as than to fly. So I think that flying is not the most vulnerable time when you can actually get the disease. It's the same that you have like that a lot more car accidents happen than actually plane crashes, and still you're more afraid to get on the plane.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of similar to that. Because once you're there, of course, at the airport, you have to keep the safe distance. You really need to just do your normal hygienic rituals, like washing your hands and stuff. But I don't think that like there are no one has been infected on a plane. So that's actual statistics, that there hasn't been any effect. So like no one has gotten the disease actually on a plane. So I think that can give travelers peace of mind to restart traveling.
So, by the way, there is a thing that when it comes to travel and tourism industry, all the governments, specifically when it comes to World Travel and Tourism Council, because they are the one who are gonna define the international SOPs, and UNWTO, they both are responsible for that. According to them, they people think that it will be open in stages. Stage number one will be domestic travel and tourism, then regional, and then the last thing will be international, because all the borders are, I think, European borders are closed right now. You people cannot travel between countries to country like normally you people do.
Well,
All the borders are closed for now. What's the situation
no,
over there for COVID?
there are gradual reopening of borders. So I know that it depends of the member state, but I know that Hungary has opened to a few countries already, like neighboring countries, and I also know that Malta has opened already the borders. So yeah, so it's gradual. It's a gradual opening, but I think that probably by the end of summer we will see a higher, like, and of course, there are business travels, and also like some families are separated, like the children are studying in the US or in Asia. So I think that they will have to make like exceptions, and maybe it won't be the same frequency of flights as we had before the crisis, but I think that international travel will also slowly restart. And then I guess we will have to start or live with the virus together unless there is a vaccine, and just really make sure that we keep ourselves to the hygienic standards that that governments and authorities recommend.
By the way, being a part of travel and tourism industry, what's your take on that? That there are a lot of people, there are a lot of conversation which is ongoing right now. That how the people are going to build the trust factor in traveler, like how the people are gonna feel safe prior to traveling. How people are going to do that? Because I think that will be the very difficult task, and world is already discussing this, that how this factor is gonna be built in travelers. So what's your take on that? How, being a private travel and tourism company, what role you people can play in that
Yeah, I think
to
that
educate people?
our responsibility is to educate people, like give them a lot of content, give them educational videos, send them newsletters with like calming messages, send them actual statistics, probably give them discounts. So I believe that in the next few months we will see a significant drop in the prices of like hotels and plane tickets. So you really need to get the enthusiasm for traveling back, and at the meantime, it's our responsibility to educate the consumers what's safe and what's not safe, and to make them sure that they have a peace of mind while traveling.
Yeah, I think this is something which is really important for all the travel and tourism companies. By the way, the world is talking about COVID nowadays, and we all are in quarantine. We all are spending a quarantine life nowadays, and the things have been totally changed. The way we used to live, things are totally changed. We are physically distant. We cannot meet people. We cannot go to parties. We cannot step outside the way we used to. So, how you are spending your quarantine days, and how much it's different than your normal routine?
Well, as a startupper or used to be startupper, it's not very different because I try to do home office all the time. It's just like, I think it's way more
Wow, it
efficient.
means it's like normal for you. Like you're used
Yeah,
to
it's
with home
normal.
office.
I watch Netflix in the evenings, I work throughout the day on Zoom. I communicate with a lot of people. Yeah, so I guess it had some, just really my mood was changed by this because, when you know that there are a lot of moms who are actually working moms and the schools are closed, and you know that your colleagues have a lot on their shoulders with educating their children at home and at the same time having to deliver in their jobs as well. I think that kind of put a pressure on me too, to just really try to help them to ease this burden and to be very, very flexible with working hours and work schedules. So I can see the struggle with people who actually have families and who are closed in with their families. I'm lucky, or not lucky. I guess I'm lucky that I live, on my own, and I don't have children yet to take care of. So for me, it wasn't really different from my lifestyle before, just working and yeah.
So, but don't you miss parties, and don't you miss stepping outside with people, going into conferences and all that?
Yeah, actually in
Because meeting
Hungary,
in person, I think meeting in person is something different. Like it's little different than having a Zoom call or something like that. But I think the world has changed. We all have adopted that the future is virtual, and we all have to use the technology. And yeah.
yeah, I completely agree with you. And I'm lucky to say that in Hungary, we're finally at the point where we are allowed to go outside. And I think it's the first weekend that I will meet my friends in a long time, and actually go somewhere and not just have like an online house party. So I'm really excited about that too. Yeah, you really need the energy, and it's way better energy if you're together with people. It's easier to
Yeah.
motivate people. Yeah, it's easier to
So
communicate.
by the
So
way, there is a thing that people are feeling depressed because of this COVID-19 thing. And would you suggest others that how they can make their days productive? The people who are not entrepreneurs, mostly those people who are students right now. First of all, let's start with the students. Would you suggest them that
yeah.
how they can make these days productive?
Well, honestly, so I'm not a student anymore, but still I went on to, I think it was Udemy, and found a project management professional course. So I think if you're a student, it's the best time to not feel depressed and sorry, but to actually be very happy that you have a lot of free time to do all this stuff, the learning, the self-improvement that you haven't done before, because the current is going to be over. So it will equip you with way better possibilities if you actually subscribe into an online course or get, I don't know, an online degree or whatever. So there are many ways to improve yourself while sitting in front of your computer, and you
I
can
think
put
the
those
thing you
skills.
just mentioned, yeah,
Sorry.
the thing you just mentioned, that you have time right now. You can reflect on your mistakes, you can learn more, and you can become a better person. Yeah,
Yeah.
and you can get ready for the future. I think this is the time to make yourself get ready for the future. I think this is very important point. By the way, when it comes to entrepreneurs, a lot of business models are not generating money nowadays. Would you suggest those kind of people, those entrepreneurs, budding
Well,
entrepreneurs?
change the business model. So, when you asked me about what would I suggest I started with travel agencies, but my suggestion to startups is, if you have a small and good team, if you have something that's a great product or great service, there is still a niche for you. So you just need to adapt, because that's what a startup is about. If your business model doesn't work, then make the changes to make it work. So let me give an example what we did with Flight Refund. We have a claim compensation company. So basically, claims stopped coming in as the air industry was down, and 90% of planes were grounded. So we actually switched to a different product which supports people to get their money back instead of vouchers that airlines are handing out instead of for the canceled flights. So I believe that there is
Wow,
always opportunity. You just need to step
you guys
outside.
pivoted your business.
Yeah, and
Wow,
find
you
those.
guys pivoted your business model, and yeah, I think this is something. This is really a great example for other entrepreneurs. Yeah.
Yeah, so just don't give
So
up. And the team is the most important. So if you have a great team, you'll be able to make the change. You'll be able to identify a different business model. Giving up is the worst. So just don't give up.
yeah, by the way, everything has, like, every pandemic or whatever the crisis is, every crisis has some positive and negative things. Like, you need to focus on the positive part so you can improve yourself and you can work on that part. So I think, like, in the current pandemic, there are a lot of companies which are boosting nowadays, like delivery companies.
Yeah.
There are a lot of other things which people are doing. Like, even when it comes to Kareem, maybe you know about Kareem. It's like Uber.
Yeah.
Uber for Middle East, like, yeah, it's in more than 14 countries. So by the way, the thing is, when it comes to even those kind of companies, they have changed their business model. They pivoted their business model to delivery thing, so they can
Yeah.
survive during this pandemic. So I think startups also need to think the same way as you just mentioned, and you guys are a great example, as you just mentioned, that you people pivoted your business model, and you people started doing something else.
Yeah.
Uh, so by the way, how you look at hardships? Entrepreneurial journey is a very hard journey. When you started your own company and right now you're working as a CEO of a company, so how you look at hardships? Because this journey is full of sweat and tears. You are not going on a highway, you are driving on a bumpy road. So when it comes to hardships, how you, first of all, how you look at them, and what you suggest to entrepreneurs when it comes to failures, because there's a fear of failure in most
Yeah.
of budding entrepreneurs. What you suggest to them?
I think that failure is part of the journey, and it doesn't matter if you're an entrepreneur, if you work at a multinational company, or I don't know, if you're a hairdresser. There are going to be failures. That's just part of life. And I know it's kind of a cliche, and everyone says, but I actually like failures because you can learn from them. And unless you're the 1% who actually does everything right for the first time, you're going to face problems. But you shouldn't. And also, there is often a confusion between problems and failure, but they're not the same. So problems you can actually solve, and if you solve the problem, you will be in a better place than before. And failure is a feeling that results of if you're not able to overcome the problem. But there is always a solution to every problem. So you just need to find a different way. Just as I said, with changing the business model and finding the market niche. So again, I can say that of course there are going to be failures. I had mental health issues with the past, like, I don't know, 1.5 years, because I had so much focus on my company. I didn't have time for my personal life. So there's always going to be a sacrifice that you have to make. You just need to assess it. Is it worth it or is it not? And if you decide it's not, then you should just leave it and find something where you feel like you can make that compromise.
So, wow, this is something which is really great, and people need to learn from this. By the way, just one thing came in my mind that you wrote an article recently, and I have seen that article on LinkedIn. So you talked about depression. That you like, am I right? You
Yeah.
mentioned depression in that. So by the way, how you became depressed and how you overcame that depression? Can you tell a little bit about
Yeah,
that
of
article
course.
specifically?
Yeah. So I have a bipolar depression, which doesn't mean that I'm always, down. I'm luckier, I guess, because sometimes I'm very, very energetic and I get things done. And then I become like, a little bit unmotivated. So then I take a few, I don't know, days off. So it balances out, which is lucky for me. But I know that other people in my environment are struggling with like the unipolar depression, where there's that all time. I think what really helps is a strong support system, that you have family members and friends who actually tell you, like, you need to stop working, you need to focus on yourself. And then also, I wouldn't really be afraid, to just, on the one hand, go to a professional, because they know how to help you. They can actually lead you to a therapy and they make you realize things from a new perspective. And then also to just chill out. Like, seriously, you need to meditate, you need to like do some sport, you need to take a weekend off. So that's like, relaxing is really, really important. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you mentioned a lot of points even in that article. By the way, you were the list maker. You made up to Forbes 30 under 30. You were among that list. So by the way, when it comes to that list, what was that in your dream, or how that happened? How you
Yeah.
became part of that list? Yeah,
Yeah, I've been
because
watching
that's something.
this.
Because being in that list is a dream for every entrepreneur, every budding entrepreneur. You were the lucky one. So how that happened?
Well, so first of all, to not make myself like, it was only the Hungarian list, so not the global list, but it's still a big honor. So I'm really grateful that they chose me. Um, well, yeah, of course, I've been watching the list, as an entrepreneur and a motivated young person. Forbes is like one of my favorite like portals and magazines. So I always watch them. And then, I really started to work towards that goal, because I knew that they would choose people on the list who are trying to make a social impact, who have a diverse background, who really care about the community, and who have a great entrepreneurial journey and can go through with their ideas, and not just dream big, but actually try to make that happen. So I was recommended for the list, and I was really, really happy when I received an email that I was chosen on the list. I couldn't even believe it. So I was like, I showed it to my friends, like, is this real or am I just reading something? And then they said it's real. So then I was like, oh, okay. But yeah.
Yeah, I think that's like a dream for every entrepreneur, and I can understand that what kind of feeling that was. So by the way, what is your lifetime advice for entrepreneurs?
That's a hard one, but I would say the most important thing is to have fun. Like, I see so many entrepreneurs who are really just focusing on getting there, but it's not always the end result that matters. The journey itself has to be really exciting and nice, because otherwise you won't get through with it. You really need to enjoy the journey as well. And just be patient with yourself, with your business, because sometimes you don't even see how far you have come, and you just see the things that you miss, but you really need to enjoy the journey and appreciate what you've already achieved. So yeah.
I think this is something which is very important, that you also have to enjoy the journey rather than just focusing on the end result, because in that case there is a chance that you will go into depression. So
Yeah.
you will be fed up with your journey very soon, and you will not be able to make it to your dreams, turn your dreams into reality. By the way, one last thing which a lot of entrepreneurs ask, specifically when it comes to budding entrepreneurs, how to build good teams, how to find a good co-founder. So how that works?
That's the
What's your
hardest
take on
part of all
Yeah,
times.
because
That's
the
the
team is something
hardest.
which matters a lot. Yeah, because there is a very famous thing that great teams can make great things happen. But how people can hire good team, either if when it comes to hiring or they are selecting a co-founder. So how that happens? What you suggest
It
to the
really
entrepreneur?
needs to be luck, I think. You need to be in a good place and in the good time, because even if you have friends who you would like to work together with, they might not be free or available at the time because they're in other jobs. Then you can go to random events where they match, with co-founders. But I guess it's really hard because the co-founder, to be honest, is basically like a marriage in the first 5 years of the startup, because you have to work day and night, you have to travel a lot together, and you have to raise your child, which is basically the startup's product. Then you have to grow a family, which is your team. So you really need to choose wisely, who is the person that you feel like could be on your side in the trip, and they have to be equally motivated, because if you're the one who's motivated, that's not good. You need to balance each other out, and if someone is having a bad day, the other one needs to pull you up. So I have no
Yeah, I
strategy
think when
for
it comes to
that
co-founders,
person.
equally motivated is something which is really, really important. Yeah, if someone is not equally motivated, you will not be able to make it, yeah, what you want to
Yeah,
do. If you really want to make your journey happen, like I always suggest to entrepreneurs that because team is something which is the most important part. And your team, if people don't believe in your idea, until and unless someone don't believe in your idea, your journey, and what will be the end result, what you want to do in life, what your dream is. So don't select them as your team members. So until and unless someone don't believe in that.
yeah.
So, by the way, Kata, it's been 30 minutes and it's a 30 minutes podcast. Thank you so much once again for sparing out time from your busy schedule for this podcast. It's really nice chatting to you. It's really nice talking to you. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me, and I hope I was saying also some useful things that some people can
So
utilize.
I
So
think it was,
talk up and have faith in your ideas and
by the
yourself.
way, the purpose of this podcast is to spread positivity, bringing out positive stories. The people who did something across the globe, show audience their stories so they can take inspiration from. I think this is the sole purpose because everyone is in quarantine nowadays and there are mostly people are
Yeah,
feeling depressed.
that's a really
So,
good purpose.
yeah, this is the sole purpose. Thank you so much. Thank
Okay,
you so
thank
much.
you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.